LR Blitzkrieg.
The Marksman.
We're back with another episode of Aiight.
So boom!
Yeah, man. So what's up, Mark? How you doing?
I'm alright, man. It's been a low week as far as news is concerned.
Yeah. Let's just get into it. Give them what we got.
No doubt. No, we have a few things happening. Then we're going to cover some Invincible stuff because that's a popular show on Amazon Plus.
Invincible's pretty tough.
But we had a few trailers drop this week. If you paid attention to anything, Mr. The King himself, King LeBron himself, has taken the mantle that Michael Jordan has left us. And I think it's pretty eloquent. If you remember Space Jam back in the day, that was a very revolutionary movie. It fused basketball with the most popular, cartoon IPs at the time, and they had a good time with it.
Had a couple of dope tunes on the soundtrack as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes, LL. They had that hit 'em high, hit 'em high.
Yeah, that was my joint.
Yeah.
So, and LeBron is really into music, so
very much
he I think he A&R'd one of 2 Chainz' albums.
Did he?
Yeah. So he's really into hip hop and music. So I would assume that he also did a lot on this soundtrack. But back to the movie.
Right. What about the trailer?
I was pretty impressed.
No doubt.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything that I was going to want to see. Right. Or I thought it was going to be like really goofy and not entertaining. Right. But from the trailer, it looked like it was going to be a lot of fun. They used so many different Warner Brothers properties inside the trailer. Right. And it looks like it was animated well, so I'm not mad at it.
This is set to release on July 16th of this year. What I saw, like I told you before, I saw a lot of CGI, right? Which puts this into a different category. But it looked expensive. Mm-hmm. It looked like it was well made. Yeah. I saw Ready Player One. I saw a lot of those elements where you're seeing a lot of nostalgia being poured on you. You know what I'm saying? With a movie like this, where you're dealing with people who aren't even actors, I think that's a smart move.
Yeah. It's hard to do, because you're acting pretty much against nothing, right? Like it's just it's you and a green screen, and you're already not an actor. So now you don't even really have real people to bounce off of. It's tough, but
it looks like they're gonna pull it off. So we'll see how that happens. Director Malcolm D. Lee is in charge of that.
No Pepe Le Pew.
No Pepe Le Pew.
No Pepe Le Pew.
He's been canceled. And it actually is worth noting that the female bunny, I forgot her name.
Babs.
Oh,
is it Lola? Lola Bunny.
Lola
Bunny. How did I forget that's my daughter's name?
Shouts to Lola. She was changed. She had a serious redo from a design perspective because she was a sexy bunny. Yeah. And they gave her a little bit more, basketball shorts. They gave her a little bit more. They purposely changed her up. I think Zendaya is speaking for her on a voice cast.
In the dark interwebs of Reddit, you can find many things with that bunny that you probably should never see. So don't go there. Don't go there.
Don't go to Blitz's page and find those pictures.
It's not on my page.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Well, another trailer that dropped was Bad Batch. Shout out to Star Wars. This is Disney. This is that whole IP. I remember on my podcast, X Marks the Black podcast, we broke down the investor meeting that they had a few months ago. Yeah. Where literally it was couple of hours long.
I'm an investor. They asked me to come in, and I went in. I put the video on. I watched it.
So then you're the reason why a lot of these things are coming together.
I own like $500 of Disney stock. It's not that much.
Well, you're a share owner. Bad Batch is, if you don't know, in Star Wars, you always had the clones. We had the clone army, right? Bad Batch, they are the rejects from this clone army. Some of them end up using technology. Some of them end up souped up for whatever reason. You'll see why. Right. But they defect, and they're just the coolest clones.
So were they in the old Clone Wars show?
They were. They had a nice little run, nice little adventure.
Wow, because I never watched any of those. I know of them because, you'd see it here and there, little clips. Yeah. And then once... the Mandalorian came on, and they had, Ahsoka Tan and the other, the woman Mandalorian with the owl.
Yes.
With the red hair.
Yes.
She's a princess or something, right? Mm-hmm. Once I saw those characters, then I had to go back and do my research. Yes. But I never watched the animated series, so I may get into this one for sure.
I think once Ahsoka starts coming out, once a lot of these things roll out, I think a lot of fans are gonna go back. I mean, it's on Netflix, so it's not like I'm sorry, it's on Disney Plus.
Ooh, that was bad.
I apologize. Sniper hit me from the window. It's on Disney Plus, so you can always go back.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano is a character that was created for that show, so she's not canon to anywhere else but that show.
If you saw her in real life, played by Rosario Dawson on The Mandalorian,
oh man,
she was originally just an animated character, and she was so dope that they brought her into the rest of the canon of Star Wars. Same thing that happened with Harley Quinn.
Very true. Same thing, brought for the television audience.
Yeah.
Which is very risky, but popularity goes a long way in these things. So watch that Bad Batch trailer and let us know what you think about it. Let us know if you're gonna be
for sure. Hit us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.
Definitely. All right, so boom, make sure you subscribe. And when you hashtag Aiight, got 2 eyes. All right,
two eyes. 1, 2, 2 eyes.
Justice League has another animated series that's coming out. It's a World War II story. That's really all we know. They're assembling the old school squad of Justice League. It's set in a different time.
Like Justice Society of America or just Justice League? Like,
well, they're calling it Justice League.
So like Flash, Batman, Superman, they're in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The art style is very reminiscent to the Man of Tomorrow cartoon that they released a few months ago.
That looks nice.
A lot of dark, sharper lines. You can definitely see it has a very clear aesthetic. I do like that. We all know, every fan knows that DC has that animated block.
Yeah, they've got that. They
definitely have that.
They've got that on lock. I give Marvel the one up with real life shows and movies. But when it comes to the animated, DC has always been on top of their game with that, for sure.
Animated movies and video games, DC definitely, especially video games.
Yeah, I still play the second Injustice when I get a chance.
People don't understand how much money video games make. At some point it's like they can care less about movies. They're, Arkham alone.
Arkham Knight,
brought in so much revenue for DC.
Yeah.
That's printing money.
I think Arkham might have the best bat suit I've ever seen.
That's the best bat a lot of things that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Some of those cutscenes can replace these films.
For sure.
Down to the technology and his gauntlet, a lot of things that they've picked up a lot of those elements and put them in films because they've just worked so well.
But not enough, man. It's so. I would literally just take like which one is it? Is it Arkham Knight? Was that the last one before this? They have a new one coming out, or I think Arkham City or something, and it's all of the other characters basically. Right. So it's Robin and Nightwing and Batgirl. But the last one before that, I thought that game was. I didn't even really play it, but I'd watch my mom play it. My mom is a huge gamer.
Shout out to moms who game.
Shout out to my mom. But yeah, she's a huge gamer, and she loves that game. For sure.
That's dope. Shout out to DC for at least trying. At least they're trying. But more so with Warner Brothers, because we know Warner Brothers and DC have a symbiotic relationship. King Kong, Kong vs. Godzilla, 2 titans. If you want to talk about kings of the game, 2 titans, cinematic titans. You really can't get bigger, literally and figuratively, than King Kong and Godzilla. And they were pitted against each other in this spring's Kong vs. Godzilla release that released, of course, on HBO Max. So make sure you get that membership going. Yeah. How'd you feel about? You said you slept through it.
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't get all the way through it. I kind of fell asleep. It was a long night. We had watched all the shows, right? So we watched. We started with Falcon and Winter Soldier, then we went to Invincible, and by the time we got to King Kong and Godzilla, we had a couple drinks, and I just couldn't stay up.
You have a full video for the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode. Tune in.
Yeah, but
what'd you think of what you saw? I guess
I didn't see much. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Did you see any of them fighting
no,
each other? Okay.
Totally didn't get
so
that.
You just saw the human elements that people really tend not to care about at all.
How did they size up King Kong to make him the right size to fight Godzilla? Because that proportionally just doesn't make sense to me.
He was a child when we saw him, and he got bigger.
So when we saw
Skull Island,
he was a child.
He was young.
Wow, Mighty Joe young.
He was young. That's literally how they explained it. It wasn't much explanation.
Wow.
This movie is not much for explanation, you know. But when it came down to the battles, I thought, you know, it wasn't. It was more Godzilla and Kong than I expected, because I'm trained to be bored by these films. I'm trained to not see anything to the end of the movie. Right? Maybe a little action, a fin here. Right. But they had a couple battles, you know, throughout the film, and I will say that the CGI was impeccable. They looked great.
Mechagodzilla was in it as well, right?
Mechagodzilla was in there too. No spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but Mechagodzilla is definitely he's seen and he fights.
Oh, he's seen.
He fights. I mean, he reps himself.
So were any of the other Titans in it?
Not really. They had flashbacks. They showed a little.
Because
nothing crazy.
I also did not see the last Godzilla movie. Sorry.
Hey, I don't know if I did either.
But I know that that one had like Ghidra.
Right.
The Hydra.
True.
And I think it had Mothra in it.
Yeah, Mothra was in there. This one had more. They just showed.
Who's the turtle? What's the turtle's name?
I don't remember.
Donatello. Raphael.
Yo, I'm drawing a blank. Leave us in the comments, man. You can tell we're not into, you know. Yeah. I mean,
I was when I was a kid, man. I used to love those
black
movies.
And white. You know, that was back in the days when, you know, way before CGI, when you could put a guy in a suit,
in a rubber suit, and I was entertained.
The same format every episode. We know exactly when the fight was gonna happen. We knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, man.
You know, this is pre Power Rangers doing the same thing.
Even when they first rebooted it with, I think, Matthew Broderick. You remember that one? You didn't like it?
That one was
I was little. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
No, I hear you. Is that the one with Cisco on the soundtrack?
Wow, I don't know. I might have tuned that part out.
Because I remember they redesigned him, and they even had a cartoon with that redesigned.
Yes.
You know, they definitely tried to milk it as much as they could.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious if you're a fan out there. Are you watching these films on HBO Max? Are you interested in going back to the movies? How is this new normal fitting out with you? You know, catching up on all your content, you know. I know you got the HBO Max, the Disney Plus going.
Sure.
I know you're not missing the movies, right?
I'm not missing anything. And I don't see myself, honestly, unless I decide, because it's really cheap to do right now, rent a theater to, like, you know, like I think for like $300 you can rent the whole theater right now, right? I may do something like that for like a kiddie movie and have like all the kids, something that we would enjoy ourselves anyway. But just I can't see myself right now going back to the theater with a bunch of strangers. I can't do it.
Just casually with the.
And I can watch it with almost the same sound system, nice big high definition screen. And, you know, as much popcorn as I want, just keep going back to the kitchen.
No doubt.
without going to the movies. But I do know that Warner said that they, for their 2022 slot, are going back fully to the movies.
They had to smooth that over with a lot of folks.
And they're also thinking that there's going to be a big, some contention because of what they're saying is happening now with Black Widow. Going direct to Disney Plus.
That's definitely the next and final topic of this section is the last trailer. I can imagine it'd be the last trailer.
I mean, they put out 5 already, and then they put out another one and give you
imagine
2 seconds extra of footage.
Shout out to Scarlett Johansson. She's been waiting patiently for her time. COVID came. I never thought they would make a Black Widow movie. I never wanted to see a Black Widow movie, as much of a fan of her character as I am.
Yeah.
Of course, at the end of Endgame, her death, I kind of get it. And then COVID happened and kind of just made it even almost more unnecessary for there to be a Black Widow movie.
It's so weird for people to be waiting for a movie for a character in a theatric movie universe that's already dead.
That's dead.
Like, she's not coming back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all the little things that will be in there that we know will then follow over, like, you know, Yelena Belova or, you know, Red Guardian maybe, or, you know,
Taskmaster maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, this is a test, you know, this is everything that's happening now, and that's why we're doing this show. Aiight, so boom. A lot of these podcasts, even X Marks the Black podcast, were birthed because things are happening for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, we're now seeing Marvel is perfect in their delivery as far as them printing money. How will that engine work for a film that we haven't seen marketing for in months? We got to be reminded the character is dead. There's so many things against it. Only Marvel could execute this film.
Yeah, and it, you know, just even in saying that about how things are because of COVID, it makes me think about how the money is allocated.
Yeah.
Because you got to assume that Disney is losing tons of money on the theme parks.
Yeah.
They're losing tons of money on the cruises, theatrical releases, which would also, you know, pour into merchandising. Because if they're not at the movies, you're not going to get the same money out of the merchandising, right? For all of these things that you put out. Look at that Raya, the last Dragon or whatever, right? You could have put tons of toys in the stores, and kids probably would have bought it because it was in the movies. But when it goes straight to, you know, Disney Plus, you got to assume that the merchandising is not there. And I know a lot of people, you know, grown-ups, we don't think about that, but Disney, trust me, they think about it.
Listen,
that's the bread and butter, like, you know, these toys and these things you can do with McDonald's and you can do with, you know, all of these other places. Putting your characters on Pepsi bottles and all of that stuff is a big deal and big money. So I know Disney prints money. They have tons of money, right? But I wonder if it affects budgets in the long run when it comes to the movies and the shows, or if that's just like completely separate from, you know, all the other stuff.
It definitely will affect the budget.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the streaming contingency was something that they wanted to do naturally. They didn't want to be forced into it.
Well,
right?
they were lucky that they had this in place, and they knew that it was going to be. It came at like the
Look at what
right
happened.
time. Because if it wasn't ready, now imagine if like Disney Plus was like a year away.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's uncanny how things happen in many different facets. How things fell into place. In a very interesting way, and then certain companies kind of just jump ship. They left the theaters to hang high and dry. So that's very interesting. With Black Widow, this drops in July. If you have Disney Plus, you'll probably play a premium, probably like $30.
Yeah, I think it's like $30.
Well, you could have it for 30 days or something like that.
I think you get it for 30 days, but after that 30 days, it's probably going to go on to Disney Plus proper anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's now free for everybody. I would assume it's probably. You're probably right. It's probably going to be quite a few months before they
not
put
for
it
no
on.
Black Widow.
Yeah,
they're already losing money.
No, you're right.
They're definitely losing money with this platform. I remember on my podcast I spoke about it. When you see Black Widow go on Disney Plus, one, there's a problem, and two, it's because they had absolutely no choice.
And a part of it is because you can't lose your timeline.
You can't.
Right? So we either going to put this, if we don't put this out, there's going to be information missing from the next thing we put out. Or else we have to wait with everything else. We got to keep pushing stuff back. So I think they waited as long as they possibly could. And, you know, COVID forced their hand.
It's really funny. I mean, we have WandaVision drop. We have the next phase of entertainment coming out. And we still have this old thing. People are going to watch it like, okay, thank you for coming, Scarlett, and then we're gonna get back to Loki or something. You know, like it's gonna be a very interesting transition. So I'm definitely curious. We want to know how you feel. All right, so boom, let us know how you feel. Are you gonna see Black Widow at home? Are you gonna see it in the movie theaters? Are you gonna do both? I may have something in my crib. I'm thinking maybe I just invite friends over. You know, is that the new normal? Is that what we're gonna do now all summer?
You know, look, I got both my shots. I have no fear anymore.
I'm one away.
I got both my super serum shots. So.
Well, that's flying. What happened this week? I mean, listen, we can wrap this up. You know?
What's happening in battle rap?
That's true. We just had some events happen this past week.
Yeah. That Raw Breed with
Hitman Holla
and Cassidy
versus Cassidy. That happened already. How did y'all feel about that? Leave that in the comments. Let us know how you feel.
I saw it on DNA's page. He had retweeted. Somebody had put up, you can't spell Cassidy without the ASS in it. and he was dying. I don't know how Cass did. I'm sorry, Cass. Shout out to Philly. Shout out to Cassidy. But you know,
Cassidy is someone who his style to battle rap is just to do his whatever he normally does. He doesn't change for battle rap at all.
No.
Cassidy's like, I'm just so nice that whatever bars I'm spitting just supersedes the environment I'm in, the combat.
20 years of hotel flow. No, I'm sorry. I'm a hustler flow.
Yeah, seeing Cassidy is
straight years of the same. I'm sorry, Cass. Like, you know, I
Cassidy
haven't seen the battle, but
and we've seen him versus Disaster. We've seen him versus Goods.
Yes, we've seen him.
And he just stays like, nah. And if you tell him what he lost, he won't hear it.
But hey, as long as the leaks keep paying him, he's gonna keep taking these battles. That's how I see it.
Nah, but this card that's stacking up is actually pretty interesting.
The URL card, right?
Yeah. Because what's happening is they're able to use caffeine. You mentioned caffeine, right?
Yep.
You still have it?
Yeah, I still got it. I still got the app. I know this event is coming up soon. What is it? April 10th?
April 10th. Yes, I'm looking for the. I'm getting the lineup here, but it's actually a pretty stacked lineup. A couple of MCs I actually never heard of before. Maybe the fans could tell me.
Right.
JC, sorry, not Jay. Jay-Z will not be in attendance.
He will not be there. No.
He's not coming. JC versus None. I'm not sure about those MCs.
JC is nice.
JC
is nice.
Okay. You know where he's from or anything?
I don't recall.
All good.
But I never heard of None.
Okay, so JC versus None. We got Bill Collector versus Big T.
Nice.
Definitely, those two are definitely good mid-tier dudes.
Yeah.
I've seen them come from a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely am down to be entertained by those two. We got Shotgun Suge versus Danny Myers. They've both been in the game for a while.
I say they're evenly matched. I'd for sure say Danny Myers, Bar God, and Shotgun are evenly matched.
You say that?
Yeah.
You don't have a one for that? Do you have one for Bill Collector and Big T? Anything for that? Or prediction wise?
I'd give it to Bill Collector on first glance.
Yeah, maybe two.
Yeah.
That's tough. And then the card, the card, right? This is actually why we're tuning in to see Geechee Gotti versus Math Hoffa.
Shout out to my man Math Hoffa.
Math Hoffa is one of the first battle rappers I saw. Was kind of doing this thing when he went viral. That viral moment was just he and he knows this.
Styling on him.
Yeah, him, that swing, that added a lot of mystique to battle rap culture.
Absolutely.
And as far as getting views, as far as, what's going to happen in this battle, Math Hoffa, I definitely can't condone those actions. But it did add a lot to the culture.
Sometimes you got to hit them up. No, edit. Boop. And we're back.
How do you feel about this card, though? Do you have anybody in mind? On first glance.
Yeah. Math is my boy. He's a friend of mine, right? When he's on, he's on.
Yeah.
And when he's off, he's way off, right?
Yeah.
But if he's dialed in for this battle, I can't see him losing. I don't really like Geechee.
Okay.
I'll just say that. There's a lot of people like him. I know that he's risen, like his rise has gone way up. Like every battle he keeps going up, and a lot of people like him. He's big in the leagues right now, but his style doesn't work for me so much. So I'm hoping that we get Math on his A game, and he just knocks this one out the park.
No doubt. So we got that April 10th, JC versus None, Bill Collector versus Big T, Shotgun Suge, Danny Myers, and Geechee Gotti versus Math Hoffa. You can tune in to the Caffeine TV app.
Yep.
Free promo, because we love rap.
Yeah, we do this for the fans, for you guys.
You know what I'm saying? Boom.
So, that's about all we got on that one?
Those are topics.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I am LR Blitzkrieg. You can check for me at wherever. Look, I'm going to put my hands like this, and hopefully the Instagram box with my name, the bottom fits right there, because I do all the editing.
I am The Marksman. You can follow me at The Marksman. I have a podcast called X Marks the Black Podcast. Stay tuned. All right, so boom, we have a full episode where we will discuss the last episode of Invincible, and we have a full episode we'll be talking about the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Go buy my EP, The Sixers with the Bad Seed, produced by Knots, and subscribe to this channel right now. We out. Peace.
Boom.